Do you think there's going to be a huge difference, or is there going to be a huge advantage to people that use AI and people that don't? Because right now, there isn't really, but maybe I'm wrong in that respect. But is that gap going to grow much
Absolutely.
further?
Hands down. We must learn how and where AI best fits in our work. And also what happens with the data we put into it. Where does it go? Can we trust it? We must know these things. You're right. There is not going to be, there is a huge difference between somebody doing a job with AI and without. So much so that there are companies forming that buy companies that do not use AI, incorporate AI into their workflow, and then outcompete the market. It's not going to happen. It is happening.
And so do you think that the quality that's coming then from like projects or work that's being done with employees assisted via AI is of a better quality than that of just human-based AI? Because I can understand from an efficiency point of view, but AI still makes a lot of mistakes. So how do we, do you think it's like fair to kind of maybe blindly trust AI in some cases?
No, we shouldn't. Absolutely not.
Hello, everyone that is listening, and welcome to the Thinking Out Loud podcast, episode 2. I mean, I'm hoping we're going to have more people listening to it compared to the first episode that we had. Hope that our fan base is growing. But it's exciting to be here. I'm here with Kevin and Sketchy, Yuvir, as always. And we've decided that, you know, we wanted to take a little bit of a step back and talk more about AI, because we realized after doing our first episode that, you know, as much as we've been in like the tech industry for a really long time, we don't seem to know quite all the lingo or all the things that, you know, Kevin does, especially coming from the AI industry. So we wanted to kind of do like an AI for dummies kind of episode, right? Because I don't want to claim I know a lot, and I think Yuvir, I mean, you can tell us.
I know
how
a
much
little
you
bit.
know.
I know a little bit.
I also
So-
don't like to claim that I know a lot. I mean, maybe I know a little bit, but
Well,
you know, let's share.
I think
let's share what we do
We're
know.
gonna find out now how much you know. So I mean, like Sketchy, like let's just like start with you. What do you think is something that you've always wanted to know about the AI industry?
I mean, with AI, I use it generally in my work, but I think I'm trying to find out ways that I can be more efficient using AI, things I can do more with it. And I think maybe from your end, what do you think people are not using AI to do enough of right now?
Geez, AI is both a very powerful tool, but also a tool that makes spectacular mistakes. Like spectacular mistakes. And like these spectacular mistakes make people very wary to use it. So I think that people can use AI a lot in many more places, right? So you know, you can use AI to make your work more efficient, but you have to be very purposeful about how you do that. You can use AI to be creative, but again, you have to be very purposeful, very mindful. You have to really understand what it is. So I think AI is applicable broadly in many areas, but you really need to understand the technology.
How do you think people should be more purposeful with the AI?
Understand how it works, which will help you be more purposeful with how you use it, right? This AI is really, and when we say AI, I think we need to define what AI is, because just recently everybody's talking about AI, but it's existed for years. It has existed for years. I mean, even back in the day, just copying someone's clicks in a macro, that was called AI or some form of automation. It is an artificial intelligence. It's a saying that's taking something as an input, it's processing it, and it's creating the output. As low level as that can be and as high level as that can be, this is all artificial intelligence. So this has been going for years. Handwriting recognition is artificial intelligence. You know, years ago, you would write on your iPad and would type it out. This is artificial intelligence. So AI has been there for ages, right? You need to understand that this is a tool for understanding and spotting patterns, drawing these patterns together, and consolidating them.
But I mean, for the average person, I work in music, right? For example, how do you think the average person should be using this technology? Not everybody has the time or the expertise to go into it so in depth
Yeah.
to learn it like as a programmer.
Yes.
How can the average person make more use of AI right now?
Look, I'm not a programmer, right? So like I started learning more about AI in the same way many people do, right? So I started learning more about AI because of how useful I found it was for my work, right? And then I got deeper into it, and eventually I started to become a person that helps coordinate and create products and solve solutions with AI, right? How do you use it in your everyday? You try it. Try it and read it and put in the energy to learn. And that's how you do. It's be extremely curious, you know?
How do you think that would happen for people that are perhaps a little bit older and technologically not inclined? Like I know people that still barely know how to convert a Word document to a PDF. So don't you think like it might be a little bit of a stretch for them?
It's scary. It's scary. I mean, I know the internet is still new for people. Google search is still new for people. I think that's a stretch. You're right. It takes a lot of understanding from other people as well to bring them along the journey, right? And if you yourself struggle, sometimes you can usually know that guy that knows a bit more, right?
Yeah.
Lean on the people in your community. Lean on people you can find online. I really love new social media channels that are coming out, explaining things in a way that are super easy to consume, super easy to understand. Lean on the community, lean on social media. But also some of these people not even on social media, but your community, you'll know somebody out there.
I think what do you think about like making AI maybe more democratized, right? So access to AI, do you think it's available to everyone? Because I mean, maybe between Sketchy and I, like I use ChatGPT. I don't know what you use, but I'm sure there's many out there that might be more user-friendly or can adapt to your needs. So can you maybe like expand for us like what the different types of AI are and like how that could adapt to like the everyday person that maybe is not as technologically inclined?
I thought AI was quite democratized. Like,
Okay.
when you think about AI not being democratized, what strikes you as something that makes AI not democratized?
So I think the access to information as to how to use it, that's maybe easily accessible. And also some of it, at least from my understanding, and again, you have to correct me where I'm wrong, but a lot of it sometimes seems to be behind a paywall. So it's not like the true features of AI might not be accessible to the everyday person.
I think that majority of the most useful AI is fairly democratized.
Okay.
It's only really when you get into a huge depth of expertise and you truly understand how to use this thing that you're going to need to pay to access more, right? But the base level, from what I read and from what I see out in the world, I mean, the very base generative AI software, let's say generative and modern use of AI software, like your Geminis, your Groks, your OpenAI ChatGPTs, these are all available for free.
Yeah.
As an entry level.
And can you school us quickly, like what is the difference between all of them or what is unique about each of them that we should consider when choosing one?
These companies, Claude, or these products, Claude, Gemini, Grok, ChatGPT, generally they're doing similar things. They're always one-upping each other. Yeah, I think today, it's just end of November, we've just recently heard so much about Gemini 3. 1 month time, you're going to hear about something else coming out. Claude also just released the latest, Anthropic just released the latest version of Claude. They're always one-upping each other, always doing different things. They cover largely the same kinds of use cases. I don't think that they've yet hyper-specialized in certain areas. We might see that over time. Right now, what we're seeing is people democratizing AI, as you call it, by launching products on top of AI models. So you'll have what people in the industry call a wrapper. Like, so you take an AI model, a Claude, a OpenAI, a GPT model, a Gemini, you make it a little bit more accessible. So if you think, okay, you want it to be accessible, that's where these startup businesses come in that wrap this around a different interface.
Right now, you're saying it's accessible. Maybe you can go to ChatGPT, I don't know how many free prompts it gives you right now. It might be unlimited now, I'm not sure.
I don't think that there's a limit of certain models.
Yeah. Whatever it might be, but there's people that are using it right now, and there's people that are not. In my previous job, we were being encouraged to try to use as much AI in our workflow as possible. Do you think there's going to be a huge difference, or is there going to be a huge advantage to people that use AI and people that don't? Because right now, there isn't really, but maybe I'm wrong in that respect. But is that gap going to grow much
Absolutely.
further?
Hands down. We must learn how and where AI best fits in our work. And also what happens with the data we put into it. Where does it go? Can we trust it? We must know these things. You're right. There is not going to be, there is a huge difference between somebody doing a job with AI and without. So much so that there are companies forming that buy companies that do not use AI, incorporate AI into their workflow, and then outcompete the market. It's not going to happen. It is happening.
And so do you think that the quality that's coming then from like projects or work that's being done with employees assisted via AI is of a better quality than that of just human-based AI? Because I can understand from an efficiency point of view, but AI still makes a lot of mistakes. So how do we, do you think it's like fair to kind of maybe blindly trust AI in some cases?
No, we shouldn't. Absolutely not. So much so that there are companies forming that buy companies that do not use AI, incorporate AI into their workflow, and then outcompete the market. It's not going to happen. It is happening.
And so do you think that the quality that's coming then from like projects or work that's being done with employees assisted via AI is of a better quality than that of just human-based AI? Because I can understand from an efficiency point of view, but AI still makes a lot of mistakes. So how do we, do you think it's like fair to kind of maybe blindly trust AI in some cases?
No, we shouldn't. Absolutely not. We always want humans overseeing this process. I'm sure you can give many examples. As a rule, do you generally see that someone using AI produces worse quality or versus someone that does not use AI? Probably not, right? It depends on the person.
I think it also depends on like what it is you're doing or kind of the work that you're accounting for. I think it was Deloitte in South Africa. I can't remember who did a report and all the numbers were wrong. And then they had to give back the money to the government.
Oh, yeah. There was a famous report in Australia that this happened. Yeah.
So, that happens a lot. And I remember used AI in previous jobs and even in my current jobs. And I work very hyper-local music, and AI doesn't really know about the genre or about at least the artist that I'm using it for. So how do you think AI is going to evolve in the next few years to account for a lot of cultural nuances that I might not understand yet?
I don't think AI needs to evolve for that. I think humans need to evolve to know how better to use AI. It's almost like saying, like imagine you had a calculator and every now and then this calculator made mistakes, but it helped you do things faster. And saying, when is this calculator going to evolve so that it's better? The problem is not the calculator, right? The problem might be the person using the calculator. And yes, the calculator will get better. The calculator will get more accurate. It's going to take time. But today, you can't blame the calculator for the answer that's come out of it. We need to understand that this calculator, this thing that spots patterns, makes mistakes. And it doesn't understand cultural nuance. I don't know if it's ever really going to understand cultural nuance. One thing I know AI cannot do, and we were discussing this before this, is that AI is not going to have a good conversation. AI is not going to have a great conversation, I think, ever. It might have a good conversation.
Don't say ever.
You're right. Never say never.
This is going to get
Never
played
say
back.
never. Never say never. But I think one thing, like one of the very last things that this thing's going to get right is having an amazing conversation. and understanding nuance. And that, like, this is it. Like understanding the zeitgeist, knowing where to push the envelope, where to push and where to stand back. Maybe that's like the last thing to do. I was speaking to one of my friends about encoding emotion. Now, this is like a frontier thing I think should be worked on. Like, how can you encode emotion? And it's something we've also spoken about before. Like, someone who's incredibly emotionally intelligent, naturally with people, as you are, they can't necessarily always explain what they do differently to do that, right? But there are certain patterns in that. And there is a way that you can work around it.
Making poems, making songs,
Yeah.
doing artwork. And
Yeah.
some of them are very moving.
It's often pattern spotting.
Yes.
Right? And you'll find that it's what we spoke about in episode 1, right? It's like, it's nothing really fresh. Like, you have to have the human element to kind of bring in the punch, right? And maybe AI can do it by chance. It's always a chance, but it's not going to be consistent. It's not going to be great.
But then I
right?
think, at least like for me, maybe at least in my industry, if I see that AI, I think there's an expectation, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, and obviously like Sketchy, your expectation is that if I'm going to use AI to do something, I expect that it's going to do something really efficiently, and it's going to do something probably to the same ability and quality that I would do it. And if AI is missing those things, oftentimes I think, at least as a user perspective, why am I going to go through that? Because I'm prompting it correctly, but it's not giving me the answer that I want, whereas I can do it quicker myself.
That
right?
makes sense. That makes sense.
So how do we like overcome, I think, also like this distrust for it? Because if I feel like, you're saying it's good for like solving problems, but maybe it's not good for writing a poem, or in my case, like writing about music or discussing something that's like really relevant to my job, I don't then see a lot of people are going to not use AI in their jobs unless they're doing something that's like factually hard coded and studied upon for years.
I mean, it makes sense, right? What you're saying makes a lot of sense. I'd say for AI to be really effective, you have to think of it for what it is. If you think of it in terms of a new employee, it's that new employee that's highly enthusiastic, extremely confident, but it's going to get things flat wrong. And be highly confident when it's doing it, like spectacularly, dangerously wrong. Dangerously wrong.
Yeah.
And there's so many examples of it getting things dangerously wrong, right? And also, at the same time, just to give you an example, this machine has been trained to align to people's preferences to the point that it's trying to game what you want. So it's trying to figure out what you want and give it to you, not necessarily give you what you need. So it's, while it's doing this, it's been trained to give you what you want.
So what you're saying is AI is not objective.
It's not always objective. No, and there's been studies on this, right? And I think that it's going to morph over time. But I think that because right now, a lot of the AI industry is a lot of hype, a lot of marketing. These companies want funding. They want to be on the news so they can get funding and get hype. And we're not talking millions, we're talking billions, we're talking trillions. It's like, you have to be the one that's got the hype. And to get the hype, you have to be on the benchmark. So like Gemini 3 was launched, and it's like, oh, it's the number one on your LLM Arena. LLM Arena. Yes, but in LLM Arena, there's a people picking between one option and the next. And that's their preferences. And we know that sometimes the right answer is not the one that you like. Right? So if you're having people pick, that's not an expert especially, it's like, who's picking? What are their preferences? What is this representing? And like reinforcement learning through human feedback was one of the big innovations in
What
learning.
does that mean?
Right? So reinforcement learning through human feedback is one of the things that the model builders, your OpenAIs, your Googles, etc., used to train the models to give better answers. So the models are giving long answers, and it's actually a problem I have with the models today. GPT 5.1, it moved from 5, which was great and was being succinct, to 5.1 that tells me a long story, and I have to tell it to get to the point.
You have to
all the
change
time.
the model, right?
Yes, it's coming from tweaks. It's just tweaks, and I'm finding now that they're getting so close to the edge of what's amazing that they're tweaking one thing and breaking another thing, tweaking one thing. So now I think the future is probably like giving you the powers to customize things a lot more to generally how you want to use it, right? Reinforcement learning through human feedback was saying, we take one model, we tweak some of the dials in the background. Now, these dials are complex. You get something called temperature, right? How random the model is. You get some things, what parts of the context it considers. Like you get so many dials, so many things that you can tweak in the background. They're making it simpler by not having you have those things to tweak. I think the future is putting the power in the hands of the user and explaining to them how they can tweak things and making it less boring as temperature. Like, tell me what it means.
We're talking about all these things that go wrong right now with the AI, but there's definitely things where it does things very efficiently, where it comes to, it might hallucinate about the law or something like that, but law firms are using it. You talked about a big consultancy that's every business right now is using it in some form. And we also hear about AI possibly, taking human jobs, which it is right
It
now.
will.
There's a lot of people that are being laid off because AI can do it more efficiently.
Yeah.
It saves companies a lot of money. And you also mentioned, I think, in the last episode about programmers are programming this AI to essentially make themselves unemployed.
Well, to replace some parts of the programming value chain. Let's not say as severe as, I don't think that any human who can solve problems will always have a space in the world, right? Like I think, and that's what I don't like about AI and what I think people don't appreciate enough is like, we're talking too much about AI. We're not talking enough about the problems. There will always be problems, right?
To my point, though, if you look at the leaders in AI right now, the guys that are running these, they're talking about there will be mass unemployment and there might be income, like a global income and all that. How likely is that going to happen, and how far away do you think we are to this whole? Either it's going to be a nightmare or it's going to be a utopia. How far away do you think we are from this?
I don't know. I don't know. What I can tell you is that things are moving very fast, right? And companies will act in their interest. If there's a place to save, they're going to save. And, if the way they save is by cutting down on jobs that are repeatable and easy and require just basic pattern spottings, they're going to do that, right? Companies and where you work don't necessarily owe you a living, right? But you do need to be protected. Now, that's in the kind of the realm of regulation, right? AI is moving fast. Technology is moving fast. Regulation moves incredibly slowly. And also there's some perverse incentives there. The policymakers aren't always the ones that are the most experienced. The ones that are the most experienced are always in industry and get paid much better than they do in policy. So it's a tricky one, right? And the biggest challenge is that this train is moving extremely fast. And people are not moving as fast as the train, right?
And you mean from like people that are using it as well as the people that are developing it?
People around the world, the society is not moving as fast as the train.
Yeah.
So I get like what you're saying, like in terms of companies acting in their own interest, but I don't like, how do you foresee it impacting the economy? Because at the end of the day, I think if a lot of the companies are going to start to lay off their employees because of AI, a lot of people are not going to be able to afford a lot of things, right? And so that then becomes like the really concerning thing about, is AI truly good for the economy, or are we just living in a, sorry to be a bit dystopian, but in a capitalistic...
Well, I'm an economist, right, by study. And what you're saying is true, but also it's not entirely the full story. And it raises other bigger questions. This is not necessarily a question about AI. This is a question about how we distribute wealth, how we reinvest into the world. So it's not necessarily about AI itself and the technology moving. It's a bigger question that we have to ask ourselves. Is like, wealth is being more and more unequally distributed by the day. And this technology coming in enables a further unequal distribution of wealth. Yes, there are economic effects of higher unemployment, but also this can be offset with higher investment. And there's there's a long debate we
I
can
mean,
have.
they talk
It's
about,
not clear cut.
They
It's
talk
not clear
about
cut.
UBI, right? Universal Basic Income, right?
It's an option. It's an option, right?
Is it an option?
Look,
It sounds like a fantasy to me.
to be honest, the governments have to pay for it. If the companies are making much higher profits and the governments need to pay for this kind of thing, do they need to tax them more because they're making higher profits? Do they need to use those taxes to pay people a basic income to survive and then pay for education programs? Are governments the right ones to do it? Are they the right level of efficiency? I don't know. Right? Like I think that the technology is accelerating a lot of what's already been happening. And it opens up questions of how do we look at ourselves in the modern world and do better for each other? Is the current system the right system to live in? Is the government the right one to help solve this big problem?
All these leaders of these big AI companies are talking about, this is going to give you more free time. It's going to be able to, you're going to be able to do this and that, but it only works if people have some kind of income.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you're motivated, if you've lost your job and you're demotivated, I've been there. If you've lost your job, I've been at a company that closed in South Africa. And the uncertainty is real. How can you learn something new when you can't think? When you don't feel on solid ground? Yes, it'll give you free time, but your ability to use that free time depends on your mental state. And UBI is interesting. Maybe there are benefits and drawbacks. It's not as clear-cut. It's not simple. Because who administers the UBI? Who do they pay? Who's incentivized? Who's involved? It's complex, right? But at least it gives you a sense of security. That I can say, if people feel like they've got a sense of security, maybe they feel like they've got the space to learn.
Do you think that will also help people overcome the kind of fear that they feel right now with AI? Because I also feel like people very maliciously kind of attack it and say, like AI is evil and, we shouldn't be supporting this and we should kill it before,
like
it
AI
grows
art
anymore.
is not real art. And
Well, I mean, that's a whole different episode.
yeah.
A whole different episode. But definitely, I think that a lot of people have fear of it, and it's because of exactly what you're saying. They have a very emotional response, and if you think about people's identities, and if we talk about identity politics, lots of people lead with what they do for a living, as opposed to maybe any inequalities that they have. So I think that fear of being replaced is something that they will always continue to feel. So how do you think that AI can help mediate that, or how do you think AI can kind of almost demystify itself so that people would be less scared of it?
Sure, there's a lot. The first thing I think is worth responding to with what you're saying is, why are we leading with what we do? You don't have to lead with what you do, right? You are more than just a marketing manager. You are more than just a accountant, right? Lead with who you are and what makes you the person that does that job, right? You're able to be creative. You're able to identify. You're able to learn. I think we first need to stop leading with what we do, right? Because that gives us the freedom to open and breathe, right? There's always going to be some space for people that are creative, meticulous, persistent, these things. Lead with who you are. That's the first thing. The second thing is, how does AI make itself less scary? I think it already does a lot of that. I think that what we need to do is encourage a culture of being willing to try it, right? The modern AI models are fairly good at helping to answer questions about what AI is. It's already really good. But learning how to use it, of course, is important. And go to the model and say, hey, this is who I am. I have no clue about this. Help me understand it. That model will understand what sorts of patterns a person like you typically will resonate with, and you can help adapt those patterns. I think it is there. It's just take that leap, I think people are not taking that step.
Okay.
And right now it's oh my word, this thing is going to replace me, and it's replacing people, and it's going so fast, and also the companies that are driving these solutions are not helping by driving into the hype, because then you'd be like, everything is changing, and I'm like, not really, right?
I think everything is changing.
Yeah.
I think everything is changing, and
It
it's
is
changing
and it isn't.
at a very, very, very rapid pace. And I think it's going to change even further.
It is, but also like it's like the iPhone, right? You remember the first iPhones? iPhone 1, wow. iPhone 2, big change on it. 3, okay. 4, I think 7 was a big step. 10 was a big step. And we've pretty much stayed stable since 10. It's changed the shape, etc., etc.
But
It's
do you think
kinda
the
like
growth
this.
of AI is following that trend? I don't think it is.
I think that what will happen is we're already starting to see it. ChatGPT 3, somewhere 3, I don't know exactly. The first one that became very famous. Bang, huge. 4, wow. 5, wow. 5.1, okay. Too many words.
That's what the language ones, right?
The language model, yeah. It's doing, but you can kind of see this curve, and then you'll see the same thing with video, and you'll see the same thing with music, and you'll see the same, like the curve tapers out, right? And then when the curve tapers out, it's about how these things string
When do you
together.
think that curve is going to taper out?
I think that, I don't know. Like, I'm not deep enough into each of these areas of research to really answer these questions, right? I can't give a prediction on these. Where things start to get interesting is stringing things together, and like, you kind of need to look at the curve of different things and how they taper out. Also, how you, like, the next day a new technology can come out and you can just put it back on a trajectory. Like, I don't know. But what I'm saying is that it feels very fast. It is extremely fast, for sure. You're right. It's extremely fast. It's going at breakneck speed. But it's also at the same time, not all of the hype needs to be bought into.
Yeah.
Right? There's an inherent incentive for me as a company that's created something that's like, it's a little bit better being like, oh my word, it's huge. Right? There's an inherent incentive for that. And we hear a lot of this stuff, and it's like, one of the things that I like have anxiety about is like, am I keeping on top of this thing? You know? And like, when I really look at it, I'm like, yes. Like, you know? It's big, but it's like, but also maybe I've been there for a while.
It's
So
a very
it doesn't feel as
optimistic.
much.
It's a very optimistic way of looking at AI, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's a whole other pessimistic side where we do say it's developing too fast.
Yeah.
The AI itself will get to the point where it's building itself, right? It's going to be, you won't even need to be.
That's a theory. That is a theory. Yes.
It is a theory, but do you think there needs to be more regulation on how fast or how these companies are building these things?
There should not be more regulation on how fast. Technology should not be slowed artificially, right? Because that will harm us all. There needs,
How?
because any technology that can be used to solve a problem we have should not be slowed. It's like, oh my word, you're helping to solve medical problems. Like, for example, AlphaFold. AlphaFold was one of the first things that drove the AI movement and one of the first mass innovations. AlphaFold is phenomenal for medical discovery. We don't want to be like, oh, slow that down.
Can you expand, like,
Right.
for our listeners?
So sorry,
what
AlphaFold
does?
is one of the first innovations that the people that created that the people that worked on it, and I forget the company. It's the company Amin went to. My friend went to this company. I've forgotten the company now. If I remember it, I'll tell you guys. But AlphaFold was a technology around looking at proteins, protein structures, and discovering them using a machine learning technology. This is what I remember about it now. Sorry, I've forgotten the whole story.
Yeah.
I've forgotten the whole story. But this is the new innovation. What I know about it is that it won a Nobel Prize. And what I know about it is that it's a big innovation in healthcare. Now, if you slow a technology down, you also slow down all this stuff. Right?
You slow down the good
Innovations
stuff,
in
but
healthcare.
you also slow down some of the bad stuff that comes
Yeah,
with it.
So
right?
so what I'm saying is, don't slow the technology down. Maybe you can. What I want to do is speed the regulation up. Don't slow the technology down. Make
How
sure
would
the
you- what do you
regulators
mean?
catch
What
up.
do you mean by that?
Well, regulation notoriously. So how do you create a structure where the regulators are talking regularly with AI companies, understanding what they're doing, understanding the risks, and thinking about the externalities? Like, the standard thing within economics, right? Regulation is all incentives. It is people that understand, people that are able to write policy, and people that are empowered. And all of this tends towards having a lot of noise. You know, in politics, you've got lobbying, you've got all these complexities. How do we as a community think of removing some of the stuff, but also empowering the right kind of watch people? At the same time, regulation is subjective and highly controversial, right?
And the thing is, these
Highly
superpower
controversial.
countries don't want to regulate because they want to.
Because
they
they're
want to-
competing.
Yeah,
They're
everybody's
competing.
competing for
And
it.
also,
So it's tough.
I mean, is it fair to say that maybe they can't keep up with the rate at which AI is evolving? Because, I mean, if today I'm writing legislation for something that I think it's going to look like, let's say, I don't know, like data privacy or like just even throwing back to the music thing about whether artists could be like use their music to train AI models. By the time I'm finishing writing that, a new problem will come up that I couldn't even predict was going to be there that should have been part of the legislation. So do you think realistically people can keep up with the evolution?
It's a good point. And also, keeping in mind, there might be 5 regulators and 5 major companies, but also 50 other companies trying to do this. Like, who talks to who? I mean, it's a good point. It's a great point. Like, what I mean to say is the regulation should speed up, right? It doesn't need to keep at 100% of the pace of the technology, but don't slow innovation down just because we're afraid of it, right? Slow innovation down in the right ways, be very smart, be very strategic, be very purposeful, right? But also don't slow regulation down because of different people's incentives, different complexities. This speaks to bigger problems, right? Like what's happening is, it links to a previous point we raised. The problem is not the technology. The problem is the systems we sit in and how the cracks in the systems are being shown so blatantly because of the speed of this change, right? The perverse incentives, the inequality in the world, all of these cracks are being shown rapidly as this technology is expanding. And that's what's creating this complexity, the debates about things, and the perverse, like the incentives people have and like not being honest about what they really want, what they need is key. You spoke to me about one thing about what role can AI play in this. And it's interesting, but something I'm really excited by is how AI can be a watchdog. Now, who codes the watchdog? That's a key question. But AI can listen in, transcribe everything, start to link patterns and be like, oh, there's some dodgy shit going on here. Dodgy stuff going on here.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I don't even think the regulators who are, these major superpowers, governments,
Do they want to do it?
I don't think they want to, because if they start regulating,
They slow down.
look at Europe. They slow down, and then
Europe
the
has
competitors
probably
gonna,
got the forefront of AI regulation.
and
They slow down the companies there.
They have
right?
no big technology companies.
Well, they do. They got Mistral, but Mistral is not as famous as the other companies.
Yeah, there's too much incentive to keep this thing progressing, that I think that there's no way that they're going to.
So then the
try
question becomes, what do you regulate? I think that there's certain things that are very blatantly clear, right? If you go on social media, you can see, especially around the recent conflict in this region, in the Middle East region, you'll see videos that are deep fake videos of rockets hitting Qatar after the Qatar recent conflicts and recent incidents that happened. And these videos, I was there. These things did not happen. So I'm like, what is going on? Right? This is a problem. Like, regulating that is important. Being like, listen, this is destabilizing. Regulating things that are gray, maybe we can be a bit more lenient because they're gray. We can debate it and we'll eventually find the line. This is a line, right? Like when it's obviously destabilizing just to get clicks, that's easy. Like there's some stuff that's just obvious that you can do quickly. Like just because something's difficult doesn't mean you cannot do something today.
I mean, you're talking about deep fakes and all of that. I mean, where do you draw the line though? If I do a deep fake of Niquita and it's doing something funny, how do I differentiate between something that is doing a deep fake that's funny and a deep fake that is
Are
not?
you Niquita?
No.
Easy.
And
That's a
also
tricky
think-
one.
No,
That's a tricky one.
but you're not Niquita. You don't have her permission.
Damn straight you don't know my
You
permission.
and it's easy, simple. Are you Niquita? Do you have a permission?
So ban all deep fakes.
No. Are you Niquita? Do you have the permission? Right? If you're
Deep fake, all of them would not
if you're
have the
Yuvir,
permission.
And
right, and you're trying to deepfake yourself doing something, what are you doing? What are the risks involved in this? Let's say you want to deepfake you pole vaulting at the Olympics. No one cares, man. Good luck at the
but I
Olympics
mean,
next year.
just in the same vein of what you're saying, it goes back to the music thing.
Yeah.
So people are making music and they don't have that permission. I mean, especially like if you think about recent songs that have come out that sound exactly like other artists, and then you're like, oh, it's actually not. It's an AI song. At the end of the day, if you don't have permission to do this, so it's the same thing. Do I have permission to work on music that kind of sounds similar to that? No. So then it becomes the same thing. I kind of get what you're saying. Lots of people are going to create stuff. It's going to be really hard to regulate it. I think the issue comes in if you're monetizing on it, and also if you're violating community guidelines of any of the platforms that you're posting. So do you think?
Yeah, go for it.
So do you think that the companies are prepared, like the social media companies I'm talking about, are prepared in terms of their kind of, what did we call TNS?
Trust and safety.
Yes, so like their moderation team,
Moderation,
right? So
yeah.
do you think their moderation teams are well equipped
No.
to spot AI content?
No, they need to use AI to spot AI content, unfortunately. And even then, they won't be able to.
Yeah, it's already failed
Like,
in universities.
well, I mean,
failed.
it's very obvious when, like, you can use AI to detect, is this a rocket explosion? Has it, like, only allow certain certified bodies to put out certain types of content. That's easy, right? Like that's a red.
It's not easy.
Well, it's not easy.
It depends
but
on the country. In
it's
South
not
Africa,
easy.
you can't
Okay,
do that.
Okay, true.
That's freedom
true,
of speech.
True. But well,
Yeah.
I mean, there's freedom of speech, but in South Africa as well, there is responsibility to have reasonable freedom of speech. So like, let's like if you're going out there
Yeah.
and you're saying certain words, you'll get arrested, right? And you're driving certain profanity, you'll get arrested. So yeah, there's freedom of speech, but in South Africa, there's even limits, right? Like, I think we've heard of Penny and the crew who
Yeah.
got in lots of trouble for saying certain things. So it's possible to look at these things, right, and think, have a structure. It frustrates me because something's difficult, people don't act, and when you don't act, it's worse. That is a decision. Now,
I
what
think
we
this
have,
regulation is very difficult.
yeah, it's difficult, but what's worse is not, right? Deciding not to do something is deciding to accept what we have today. And I know for sure, rockets hitting cities randomly and creating panic is a problem, right? So I don't know exactly how we fix that, but for sure today is a problem, right?
Let's put it this way. If we talk from our last episode, the music one, there should be regulation. There's not, because it's too difficult. And I don't think it's going to change
You see,
anytime soon.
there's certain areas, but we mentioned this. There's certain areas that are easy, easier, and there's certain areas more difficult. I think music is a more robust debate. We can talk about, because for example, like you gave the example of the song sounding like this person. If I sing into this mic and I sit with audio software and I tweak my voice, all of a sudden I sound like Marvin Gaye. Now, is it a problem I sound like Marvin Gaye because I've tweaked my voice with audio software? I don't know. Is the sound of Marvin Gaye copyrightable? I don't know.
I
You
think-
see, we can debate this a lot, right? So I think we can have a whole episode dedicated to this topic. I think that on the regulation side, there's really clear black and white, right? Rockets exploding in cities that never happened. That is, I don't think we can even debate this. How we fix it.
That's a tricky one, though.
How we fix it.
Yeah.
Not fixing it is a big problem. Doing something is fine. It'll have some drawbacks. Do something. and then do something else, and then do something else. Don't regulate for 50 years because you're not going to get it right. Do something today, and then do something else in 3 months, and do something else in 3 months, and something else in 3 months until you get it right. But not doing something is a big problem.
No, I think we both agree with that. I think that eventually we need to get to some sort of resolution. But I think I just want to also steer away a little bit and make it a little bit more lighter and just, pivot and ask you, what have you used AI for outside of your work that's been really helpful to you? So let's bring some positive stories also from AI back into this podcast.
I love the videos people make that are really funny, that are kind of it's not dick. It's a deep fake of, let's say fictional characters. Deep fakes of fictional characters that honestly, certain fictional characters that are not copyright. Let's say they're fictional characters from 100 years ago, 200 years ago. Deep fakes of them doing funny things. That's great. And that's really lighthearted. I know there's a lot of slop out there, right? But AI has made it really easy to make bad slop. It's really funny stuff, right? That it's something that's super funny, and it would be nice to bring it alive, but no one's going to invest the resources to do that. And that's really nice, right? So for me, I've been able to express myself far more creatively with AI, to the extent that I used AI to create songs first. And now what I find myself doing is going deeper into non-AI, because that's how you perfect it. Someone might have started with purely non-AI songs and gone more into AI. Other people just hate the technology.
Okay, but what about more practical stuff? So I'm saying things that I didn't know AI could do. For example, could AI do my tax return for me? Tax season just came back, or
I use AI to fill in forms all the time. So if I'm I don't like forms. If you really don't like me, give me a form to fill in. And I like to just copy the questions, give the AI model a personality, give it an objective, and say, interview me about this thing, get the content out, draft a response. Love it. Tax returns, maybe not, a little bit. The expert thing. I don't know. It can help you. Actually, you know what helped me?
For now.
I used AI to cease my tax residency, to understand the tax laws. I used AI to understand the tax laws and cease my tax residency. That was super helpful.
And that's currently being done by jobs
they're currently overcharging for those things. Indeed. And I don't mind taking money out of certain companies' pockets. Not saying that one specifically, but I don't mind certain companies earning maybe less money for the everyday person to earn. Hey, if I have a bit more money in my pocket, I can invest it in trying a different concept. I don't necessarily need to pay to the tax return people. I don't think that they're struggling. I really don't think they're struggling. And I don't think they're giving that money to the employee that did it.
Fair enough.
So let's talk about money though. So I've seen these AI trading bots and all of these things. What do you think is, not talking about trading, but what is a good way of using AI that could maybe make some side income for you, or earn you some money, or do something that's going to actually get some cash in your pockets?
I'm not going to give that out.
This guy.
Look, if you want to start an AI business, like you're saying, how do you start an AI business? And what you first have to understand what this is, and what it can do, and what the ends of it are. So you want to start an AI business, start with understanding it, right? Then start with finding a problem. It's not about the AI. Forget the AI, right? First, you need to understand the technology, and you need to understand the problem. What we don't talk enough about, or the controversial opinion I have on this, is that AI is not about the AI. It's about the problems it's solving. So stop talking about how you're using AI, because no one cares. Talk about the problem you're solving. Pick something that someone struggles with and they're willing to pay to solve that, don't even use AI first.
Okay.
You know that Fireflies was just some guy sitting in a room listening on audio and typing out what happened in a meeting, right? Or who was it? So this is the article that I saw the other day. Fireflies did that, and then like do the things that don't scale first, make it work, and make it happen. Like Duck, there's another company that does. I always forget their name. I call them Duckface, but they're not called Duckface. There's a company that provides a personal assistant, and they started with just having people do that, and then they started incorporating AI into this process. Right? The point is, I'm not pointing out, they replaced people. Like, yes, there are less jobs created, but also that would not have been a business that existed before because that's super inefficient. They would have charged a crazy amount of money for that service, right? Personal assistant service is just not accessible to people. So while those potential jobs could have existed, the whole company would not exist, so there's zero. So at least they're hiring some people managing the thing. Start with the problem. Know the technology that could potentially solve the problem. Start with the problem, solve the problem, understand the problem, then bring in the technology.
Okay, but
And that's how it works.
You're talking from a business point of view, and I think how is it for people that, for example, I don't want to run a business or solve a problem. I just want to know how I can use AI to kind of make better choices in either investments or in terms of like stuff that can make me money. So I think, like, what would your answer be for that? Because what about the people that are just not interested in starting side hustles or new businesses?
Well, it's the one on the left. The first thing of understand the technology is still applicable, right? You cannot use something you don't understand. Like like a knife, right? If I gave you a knife and you'd never seen a knife in your life, you might hold it like this, and you're not going to go very fast.
So explain what you're doing.
Like, so you're going to hold the knife
listening.
by the top of the blade and you go up and down,
Yeah.
right? To cut. You're not going to go very fast. You're not going to hold it by the handle. You might not hold it by the handle. Maybe some people are going to be lucky they'll hold it by the handle. If you've never seen a knife in your life, you're going to do some weird stuff with it, right? So understand the knife. And understand that you can kill yourself with it as well. I mean, like, not to kill yourself, but like, understand you can harm with it as well. And you can be harmed with it. Like, it's both extremely useful in that you can cut your chicken, but extremely useless if you're using it as a something to hit the drum with. You're going to cut the drum into pieces, right?
How do you think people should be getting to know how AI works?
Try it.
I mean, I can try it. Doesn't mean I'll know how to make it work.
What do you mean?
Like, if somewhere that people are learning about it,
you don't need a course to learn something. Start somewhere. Where do you start? Somewhere. The answer is always somewhere. Wherever you think is best. Social media. Thousands of people explaining it. If you like IBM and you like Google, you like OpenAI, they've got a bunch of courses and they're kind of boring, but enjoy. You know, I like Reels and TikToks. Are they TikToks or Toks? What do you call them?
They're TikToks.
They TikToks.
Yes.
Yeah, I like TikToks.
TikTok videos.
TikToks, yeah, TikToks. I like TikToks because they have a bunch of AI guys on TikTok, and like they get to the point fast. I like this. It's like you use it. Yeah. Where do you start? Somewhere. The point is start today, immediately. Like, stop thinking about where you start. Because if you thought about thinking about where you start, it's too late.
I mean, you could probably ask the AI where to start.
Yeah. And
Type
maybe
in
it'll have a bad
ChatGPT.
answer, but hey, at least you learned that you can't ask it when you
There we
start.
go. There we go.
Ask your friend, just start. Like, stop. Don't stop trying to perfect it. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Just go. You'll figure it out. Make mistakes.
Make mistakes.
I mean, don't make the wrong mistakes. Don't make the wrong mistakes. Don't get like fired.
Don't
right?
do the deep fake.
Don't do the deep. I mean, that's not a mistake. That's just a crime, I think, in some places. Make mistakes. Understand where you can be making mistakes, but make the right mistakes. Like, understand that, like, hey, I'm gonna go and ask this thing. So it's simple. I'm gonna ask this thing about my wedding proposal. Okay. well, maybe that's very deep for you and it's going to probably get it wrong because it doesn't understand you and the other person. Okay. You can kind of get it wrong. So I don't know if I just follow what it says there. Like, I don't use AI for relationships. I definitely don't use AI for relationships because I think it has no context, does not have enough context. And even with all the context, it gets it wrong. I mean, we've spoken about using AI to analyze challenges in relationships before. It's like just gets it very wrong. That's what I learned. I mean, maybe someone else is much better at me than me at it. But just start.
I think that's, good advice. And I think something that we can leave all our listeners with. I hope everyone is going to go and try to make some legal mistakes using AI.
Legal and safe. Like, understand where it can go wrong and don't let it go too wrong.
Okay. Well, I think that's given us a lot of food for thought, a lot of things. I certainly feel more educated about AI. What about you, Yuvir?
Yeah, definitely. I want to go and learn more. I want to go ask my AI questions about itself.
Ask the AI to teach you itself. It needs to give you its
but
bio
also question
and
it. Also question it.
Question,
Don't believe everything. Ask the
yeah.
other AI if this AI was right.
Good point.
Okay, well, thanks everyone, whether you're watching or you're listening, for joining us. And if you have any other topics that you want us to cover, please leave some comments below. And remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
you.
Cheers.
Cheers.